What's up, everybody? It's Broken Bones here, and welcome to KrustyKraft. Today is episode 45. Yes, it is. And today we're going to be building the Superior Universal Dirty Tree Blaster. I like to call it the Dirty Tree Blaster for short because it gets dirt and trees. And this is it. This is a tutorial that I did several months ago, and this is an amazing farm. As you can see, I color-coded all my circuits in the tutorial. However, in today's episode, we're going to be adding some circuits that I've been toying around with here that you can see in iron blocks. All of these iron blocks are things that are not in the tutorial. These are all new things that I've kind of come up with since then. We've added Acacia Mode, we've added several other things, and that's part of the difference in today's episode. And in this tutorial, we won't be building this in creative. No, we won't be. We're going to be building it on KrustyKraft. Which means we're going to be building in the end because this is my industrial district. This is my Superior Moss Farm. It converts stone into moss and then flushes it out with water, puts it all down into the collection system, and turns it into bone meal. Once all the moss is turned into bone meal, it puts it into a shulker box, and then it can distribute those shulker boxes to my other farms via these waterways. Full shulker boxes of bone meal come to the farms that need them, and then the empty shulker boxes get taken back to get refilled. This farm in front of me is my Superior Brown Mushroom Farm. This farm actually harvests the mushroom stem and then sends the brown mushroom blocks into my wither blasters where they get broken down into regular mushrooms and sent back to the player to be replanted to grow more mushrooms. And before we move on, I know some of you are looking at this going, hey, how's he getting bedrock in survival mode? Well, I have something to tell you. Bedrock used to be farmable in survival mode, and I got tons and tons of it while it was farmable. That has since been patched, so bedrock is no longer farmable, but I still have a lot of it. And we're going to be using some of it in today's episode. However, if you don't have any bedrock, then I have a tutorial on how to hook this farm up to my TNT blaster down here. As you can see, we have the farm up there pushing all the wood and clay blocks down into the TNT blaster, which is really awesome. This TNT blaster will let TNT out, send it on up, and blast out your wood just like this, where it'll get sent down into the collection system. As you saw there, it actually released 2 TNT because it actually has a stone mode for cobblestone, because cobblestone every once in a while does need 2 TNT. So there's an option for that, and I'm running the cobblestone generator to showcase the wood getting blown up. But as I was saying, if you don't have any bedrock, then I have a tutorial on showing you how to convert the exact same farm into a setup like this, where it'll push all of your wood down into the TNT blaster. And I'll leave a link to that tutorial up in the top right hand corner. And here on the KrustyKraft server, we are in survival, so that means mistakes can be made. You guys are going to be able to witness all of those and see how I correct them. So with that being said, if you guys are ready to get started, then go ahead and smack the like button for me and subscribe if you guys are new, and let's get started with today's episode. To get things started, we're going to be building on the opposite side of our Superior Moss Farm. We're going to be building over in this area, but first, before we get over there, we're going to need to build ourselves a bridge like this to get over to our farm. All right, we're off to a good start. We have ourselves our bridge in place. We also have the waterways in here. We have our chunks laid out and everything ready to go. We have the redstone running back from the shulker box unloader. That's going to be going back here, and that's going to be hooking up to this circuit right here. This circuit is actually what redirects the water over in this direction, and then it also powers this circuit down here, which is the one that dispenses the shulker box of bone meal. The empty shulker box will be coming back down this water stream and ultimately up that water vader over to the empty shulker box storage area, and the new shulker box will be coming down this water stream, and it's going to come all the way over to these risers over here. This is where the actual tutorial begins, and we actually started by putting ice in this area, and we're not going to be doing that in my version because these pipes, these waterways, they actually go off in that direction in the tutorial, but because my moss farm's over there and not over there, I decided to go ahead and redirect them underneath and back and around over in that direction. I've also got my infinite water source over here and all of my shulker boxes, so I'm ready to go. So first things first, we need to build ourselves a shulker box unloader for the bone meal that's going to go right on top of this waterway right here. And again, this was all ice right here in the tutorial, and this block right here was actually soul sand. So if you're following along, then that's how I built it in the tutorial, but because I'm sending my boxes that way, that's why we did it this way. So next we need to go ahead and bring this up by another block all the way around here just like this. We're going to put ourselves in some soul sand right there with a dropper facing that way right over that soul sand. We're going to put ourselves in a hopper right there facing into that dropper just like that. One block away, we're going to put ourselves a sticky piston so that it'll pull that out and the shulker box can go down into our water stream down there. Next, we need to go ahead and grab ourselves a comparator. That's going to go right on top of this block right there just like so. Next, we need to go ahead and come on down here. We need to place ourselves in a block right here on the back side of that piston with some redstone dust on top, and then another block up from there, just like that. Then what we need to do is we need to actually go ahead and come over here, place a block on the side of that comparator, just like this. There we go. And then we can go ahead and come right around here, and we're going to place blocks on the sides of all of these blocks right here, kind of making the same shape. We're going to put a comparator here as well, a sticky piston up top with an observer, just like this. We're going to put ourselves a temporary block in and one over here, just like that. We can break this one out. And then once we have that done, we can go ahead and come on down here. We're going to grab ourselves a dispenser and place it in here just like that. Once your dispenser's in place, now we need to go ahead and build the Shulker box crushing circuit. Well, this is going to go right over here on top of this comparator right here. We're going to have an observer facing this way off of it just like so. We're going to go ahead and take ourselves a block in right there, a block up and a block over just like that. And we can break this one out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to place ourselves in a repeater right here. And this is going to be on 4 ticks just like that. And once we have that in place, we need to go ahead and come on down here. Place ourselves in a sticky piston facing down just like this. Let's grab ourselves a temporary block. We'll place that in here just like so. There we go. Then we can stand right here, place ourselves an observer with the red dot facing that way and the face over here. That'll make sure that any time that this comes back up, it's going to dispense another Shulker box. Now that that's complete, we need to come on down here. We need to place glass on the side of our hopper right here, just like so. And then we also need to use that glass to place ourselves in an observer right here. We're going to place an observer in here just like that with the arrow facing this way. Once we have that in place, next we need to come right over here. We're going to grab ourselves a sticky piston just like that. And we need to go ahead and come on over here and place ourselves in an observer just like that. Anytime this sticky piston extends, it's going to make these two observers look at each other, and it's going to start dispensing bone meal into the system. Now that we have all that done, next we need to go up to this dispenser here. We need to crouch place ourselves in a hopper right there. That's going to feed all of the full Shulker boxes from the moss farm over there, creating bone meal. So now we need to go ahead and encage all of this. We need to bring this water line all the way up to that hopper here. This water line is going to be what's feeding this hopper. So let's go ahead and get that just like so. That's good. Let's go ahead and put 1 and then 2 and then 3 just like that. Let's go ahead and build this up here. We need to go over here just like so. Build this all up and around. And after that, we need one more bit of water. And there we go. Now we got the water all in place. Let's go ahead and take ourselves in some glass, and we'll cap that off. And we can go ahead and break this last piece of glass over here. Next, I need to wire up the circuit that goes to this piston right here. This piston is what tells this Shulker box loader that it's actually empty. If that torch is on, there's nothing in the system, and it needs to call for another Shulker box bone meal, which means this torch needs to hook up to that redstone, and I'm not exactly sure where I can do that because my redstone in the tutorial goes off in that direction where there's no farm. Over here, there's a big giant farm, and I don't know where I can build that, so I'm going to leave that for later. Next, we need to come on down here, and we need to close up our Shulker box loader. So we need to go ahead and bring glass up here just like that, so that way when the Shulker box breaks, it doesn't fall down or outside. And then we're going to go ahead and place glass there and there because the Shulker box will be in there. The hopper will get pushed back, the Shulker box will get broken, and then taken down into that water stream. Next, we need to go ahead and do this bit of it right here. So let's go and throw ourselves a temporary block right there. We're going to put glass around here just like this. Just like that. There we go. Then we need to go break this out here, and we need to take this up by 5 blocks. So this is going to be 6 blocks in total, including this one. And then we're going to fill these up with water, and this one's only going to be 5 blocks tall because the water's going to be flowing out in that direction. Now that we have our water column in, next we're going to go ahead and come behind this piston here, and I've placed in some temporary blocks for us. And next we need to go ahead and place ourselves in a piston right here. This is going to be the beginning of our Bonemeal Circuit, so we need to place in 2 blocks like that. We need to place ourselves in an obsidian block right there and a redstone block in right there. We're going to take 3 glazed terracotta blocks, 1, 2, and 3, just like that. Then off the side right here, we're going to place in ourselves another temporary block with a piston just like that. And just to brighten things up a bit, this part of it right here, I'm going to take this out and make that a sea lantern right here because that block's actually not needed for the redstone. It's just there to hold that repeater. And then that way we have some lighting in here. Ah, yes, that's much better. Now that we have the lighting in place and this circuit's pretty much done, we need to add some slime blocks under here. 4 in total coming back in this direction. We're going to add 2 temporary blocks just like this. We're going to break this one out, and we're going to place ourselves in a sticky piston in right there just like that. Now the sticky piston going over to this redstone block is the on switch. The redstone block will go forward and turn the farm on. When the farm fires because a tree is grown, it'll go ahead and push this over, and the redstone block will be disengaged coming over to this piston. Now we need to wire up the reset circuit, which will power this piston, turning the farm back on. And to do that, we're going to go ahead and place ourselves a temporary block in right there on the side of that piston. We're going to place in a copper block right down in there. We're going to come over here and place in another block just like this. Next, we need to go right over here just like that. Wow, that was close. Let's go ahead and get this out here just like so. And we're going to place ourselves in some redstone just here and there. In the tutorial, I have another solid block, but right here, I'm actually going to place in ourselves a glass block, and that actually needs to go on the side right over here just like this. Then we're going to place ourselves in a total of 3 more blocks, 1, 2, and 3, just like that. We'll place a temporary block in here and one up like so, another temporary block, and then another one up like so, just like that. We can break out our temporary blocks, 1 and 2 right there like that. There we go. And place in redstone dust across all of these. And in the tutorial, this is a solid block because in the tutorial, I don't have Acacia Mode set up because Acacia Mode wasn't possible back then. Now, I'm going to have a block, a piston right there, a sticky piston with a block on its face, and that'll cut this redstone off here later on in the episode. And just as a side note for doing this in survival, check out where I'm placing my temporary blocks, because I'm removing these in between clips, and I'm not really showing all of that because you guys can pretty much check it out. It's not really part of the tutorial, but nonetheless, it's very important for survival mode to know where to place your temporary blocks. I mean, I've been using these on the side over here to climb up. But all of that aside, we're back here to our sticky piston, our on switch. And so next we need to go ahead and place ourselves at a block right there. We're going to wire this guy up. We're going to place in 2 blocks right here and right there. Go ahead and place redstone dust here. We're going to take a temporary block right here and one up just like this. We can break that back out, and we can put redstone dust on top of all of that. Once we have that in place, next we can go ahead and grab ourselves a sticky piston just like this. We can take a sticky piston and place a block on top of it just like so. Then we're going to take ourselves a stair block and place that in there just like this, to where we can actually kind of walk down the stair block. Then once we have that in place, we need to place in a temporary block down there so we can come on down here. Let's go ahead and get ourselves out here. Next, we need to place ourselves in a redstone lamp just like that with a lever on top of it just like so. And I think for the sake of lighting, I'm going to go ahead and replace this block here with a sea lantern. Next, we need to come right over to this block. We need to place ourselves on a temporary block and then a block right there, and then another temporary block right here with an upwards facing sticky piston just like this. This is going to have an observer with the red dot facing this way. We're going to put another temporary block here and one out here just like so. We need to place ourselves in another observer just like this, and then that way whenever this one extends, those two will be looking at each other. And that's going to go ahead and power a block that's going to be right here just like that. Let's go ahead and break out our temporary one. And then on top of this block, we're going to have an upwards facing dropper just like this. And on this side of that dropper, we're going to get ourselves a button. And then down here next to this piston, we're going to go ahead and place ourselves in a block right there. We're going to place redstone dust on top of both of these. And then we're going to take ourselves a block and place it up there just like this. This is going to have a redstone torch that comes out on this side just like so. Then we're going to go ahead and place ourselves in a block up here on the front. Let's place ourselves in a temporary block right here, not there. Let's go ahead and place one in down here like this, and we can place ourselves in a block in the front of that torch and also on top of it like so. Once we have that in place, we can come on top of here and place ourselves in a repeater just like that. We want that one right there. We're going to place another block in front of this guy, so we're going to place in one right there just like so. We're going to place a redstone torch in right there just like that with another block on top of it like this. Once we have that in place, we're going to go ahead and come on up here just like this. And then from here, we need to go ahead and place ourselves in a temporary block like that with a transparent block right there. In this tutorial, I use a slab. I'm going to use a glass block because I like the way it looks. And we're going to go ahead and place redstone dust there and there. So now that's in place. If I turn this lever on, you can see that the dropper starts to tick because that observer goes up. The redstone up there is now powered, and our redstone down here, our redstone block, has gone forward. And if we turn it all off, we can see that everything turns off. So now down here on top of this slime, we're going to place in ourselves some temporary blocks right here. We're going to take ourselves 4 droppers, 1, 2, 3, and 4, just like that. We're going to hop on over here to this dropper over here and grab ourselves a dispenser and crouch place that on top of that dropper in that direction just like so. Then what we need to do is we need to come on down back here. Let's go ahead and break out our temporary blocks that we placed in. Then what we're going to do is we're going to place ourselves in another dropper, and this one's going to have right here. This is going to go right on the side of this block right here, kind of even with that piston right there. Then what we need to do is we need to grab ourselves some hoppers. We're going to come over here by 2 hoppers just like that. In this bottom dropper, we're going to place ourselves ourselves in a hopper right there, and then we're going to place ourselves in one hopper there, and one more right there. Coming off of this hopper, we're going to come back with some glass all the way back to this bit of glass right there, because this is going to be where our bubble vader is going to bring our bone meal up to our system here. So there we're going to place ourselves in a temporary block there to kind of come around the corner, and we're going to finish this up going all the way across here just like so. Let's bring this all the way around just like that. Then we'll place ourselves in a temporary block in here on the side. Let's grab ourselves a stone block because it's probably going to fall, and we'll use some glass again to come around the side, and another stone block to come around and go back in there just like that. There we are. Let's go ahead and break out our temporary blocks, and then we'll finish the wall coming in all the way down the side just like this. Once we have that in place, we can grab ourselves our water, and we can go ahead and put that in there, and it'll flow all the way across. We also need to add some solid blocks in right here on top of this hopper and that hopper. And then, of course, we need to cover our water as well. So we're going to go ahead and top this off with glass right here. Let's go ahead and put ourselves another temporary block in and put that in there just like that. Next, we need to go ahead and come on down over to this area. Let's go ahead and come on down here. We need to place ourselves in a temporary block in right here just like this. We're going to place ourselves in a sticky piston facing up just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and break out our temporary block there. On this side over here, we're going to place ourselves in an observer with the red dot facing this way. Then what we need to do is we need to place ourselves in another temporary block right here to get up here. And then on this side, we're going to place ourselves in another observer facing in right here, and one more in facing in right there, going right into that dropper. Once we have that in place, we can break out our temporary block over here. Then we're going to go ahead and come on down here. Let's see, what do we need to do that? We need to come over here. We need to go ahead and place ourselves in a downwards facing observer with a block right there. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a couple temporary blocks in right there and right there. Let's place ourselves in a downwards facing observer just like that with a block right there. That'll power all of those droppers. So now that that's done, next we need to go ahead and come over here to our shulker box unloader. This is going to be our Bonemeal shulker box unloader. And this piston here is what calls for a new shulker box. And anytime that redstone torch turns on, it needs a shulker box of bone meal. And we need to do that next, because now that the bone meal system's all hooked up, we need to fill it up. So next, we need to go ahead and figure that out. I need to get this redstone torch to power that line of redstone dust down there, because in the tutorial, I have it going down here because this line goes down there in the tutorial because you need to run that over to your moss farm. I decided to go down below, and I don't have anywhere to run my redstone, so now I've got to do it a different way. So I think I'm going to go ahead and break this redstone torch here. We're going to place it on the side down here like this. And then down here, we need to go ahead and place ourselves in a block right there, just like that. Let's see if we can land on that. We need to place ourselves in a repeater in there, just like so. There we go. All right, now we're going to place ourselves in another block, but this one needs to be a glazed terracotta block because it's going to be interacting with that slime block right there. So let's place that in there like that. Okay, once that's in, we need to get ourselves below this block. All right, I figured out what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and break this block out for now. We're going to go ahead and place ourselves in a temporary block. We need a temporary block in right here, just like that, and one more over here. We can go and place that back in there now, just like so. Now we're on top of our water, so we can break out the temporary blocks. Let's go ahead and get that down. We need to place ourselves in a sticky piston right there with a... Do we need a slime block on that? We do. We need that one, and we also need a redstone block in. Let's see, we can go down 2 like this, and a redstone block in right there. That'd be good. Then we can go ahead and take ourselves in some redstone dust. We should be able to go ahead and connect this up. 1, 2, 3, and let's see, how many more do we need? I think that would be 4. Does that go all the way down to the end? It does not. Let's go ahead and go just like this. Let's go ahead and go like this. Let's take ourselves a repeater in from right here, and we'll go just like so. This will go ahead and extend it by 1 block, just like so. Let's grab ourselves a copper block like this here. There we are. And we'll place that in right there, and that should go ahead and go all the way down to the end now. Now we should have a new shulker box coming into the system, so we'll keep an eye out in this lane right here. We should have a shulker box coming in here. There it is. So we got a new shulker box of bone meal coming into the system. Let's go ahead and watch. It's going to go ahead and go into the system, get dispensed, and then it's going to call for another shulker box. So this line's going to turn off and turn back on. There it goes. So it's going to call for another shulker box. This is going to go ahead and come into the system now. Let's go ahead and watch this here really quickly. This is going to come in. There it is. This is awesome. I love this. It's fully automated. It's so cool. There goes the shulker box. It's going down into the system, and it's going up. Then this is going to retract, and then it's done. That's so cool. That worked out perfectly. Now I'm picking up my extra redstone dust. So here's our shulker box loader, and here, as you can see, there's a shulker box of bone meal there. It is now flowing into this dropper, but now we need this dropper to spit it out into this water vader right here and send it into the farm. And since the bone meal is going to be coming up this bubble vader and landing into this hopper line, it's going to be read through this block right here with a comparator, coming over this little circuit right here, and ultimately coming down to this piston that has the observer that powers the dropper that sends the bone meal out. So what we need to do now is we need to go ahead and wire that up. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a temporary block. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's actually not that bad. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and come right here just like this, and we're going to be right in front of this piston here. There's our observer, and there's the other observer. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and come out by 2 blocks just like this. We're going to come up by a temporary block, out by another one, up by another temporary block, and out by another one, and then up by another temporary block, and out by one more just like this. And then once we have that, we can go ahead and break these out here. Let's go ahead and break out our temporary blocks here, just like this. There we are. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves some redstone dust and go all the way up here, just like so, just like that. There we are. And do we need one more? I think we need one more, actually. We need to go ahead and come up by one more block here, just like this. There we are. Then we can actually come over to the side here, just like so. Let's break this guy out and then put ourselves the redstone dust in all the way across here, just like that. Now I'm going to take a temporary block so we can step across here safely. And next we need to go ahead and take a comparator output from that hopper through this block right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to place ourselves in a temporary block there with a block right there for our comparator. We're going to place in a comparator right there with another block in front of that one here, just like this. Like that, if I can get it. There we go. Then one right here, just like so. We can get rid of our temporary block now. Over here, we're going to take ourselves a repeater, and that's going to go into another block that's going to go right here. And then we can break out this temporary block, and then that's going to go through with a redstone torch. And since the farm's empty, that's going to go ahead and turn on, and now we can see all of the bone meals coming into the system. So now that bone meal's coming into the system, next we need to come on over here with a regular piston. We're going to place that in right here, just like this. Then once we have that in place, next we need to go ahead and count ourselves 7 blocks from here. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We're going to go ahead and break this block out right there, and we're going to place ourselves in a piston right there like that. We can go ahead and break out our temporary block out there and place in another piston up there like this. On this side here, we're going to go ahead and place ourselves in a block there like that. That's going to get some redstone dust on top. And on this side, we're going to place ourselves in a glass block like this. We're going to put ourselves a stair in here like this, and a stair in here like that. And once we have that in place, then we can go ahead and place ourselves in some glass here and some glass there, and then we can put ourselves in a water source right here, and we can put ourselves in another water source right in here, and that's going to make it to where when we have lava up here shortly, we're going to be able to make stone. So next we need to go ahead and come up here just like this, just above here like so. Then once we have that in place, then we need to go ahead and come up by one more, just like that, just like that. There we are. Then we can go and take ourselves a lava bucket. We need to go ahead and place lava in here like this. And once we have that in place, then we can go ahead and come up by a temporary block, place in some more glass, and then break that one out. And then once all your lava's encased like this in glass, then you're going to need to continue watching on part 2 of this episode. This episode ended up being a little longer than I could fit in an entire video. And as you can see, the machine's been built behind me, and I'm actually running it right now with my second account. He's inside planting oak trees, and we got clay mode on, so it's running just fine. And I know you guys are going to love it once you guys get this built too. So I decided to break this up into pieces because it's too long for one video. And it's going to be a little mini series that we have here for KrustyKraft. Since it's an episode and a tutorial, I'm rather excited to go ahead and just continue on with this in survival, and I'm excited for the next part of this. So if you guys enjoyed this part of the tutorial, this little mini series here on KrustyKraft, then be sure to smack the like button for me and subscribe if you guys are new, and be sure, like I said, to click the link at the end of the video to go ahead and continue watching part 2. If you don't see that link, then part 2 comes out tomorrow, and part 2 will be coming out, and then part 3 and part 4 and however many parts it's going to take me to finish this up. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this part of it, and if you guys did, be sure to smack that like button for me and subscribe if you guys are new. I'm Broken Bones, and I'll see you guys in the next part of this tutorial / episode here on KrustyKraft. Take it easy, everybody.